What up, guys? Havoc Trades. It is Sunday, March 7th, 2023, and I'm going to bring you a full top-down analysis of what I'm seeing on Dow Jones slash US30. Now, starting in the monthly time frame, the most significant piece of data that I can pick from this is that we are simply in an uptrend still because we have price making higher high, higher low, higher high. And what we've seen over the past couple months is just simply price making a higher low, right? And price has, as you can see, retested the previous higher high point, found support, and then we end up going ahead and maintaining some bullish structure since then, right? And we could also go ahead and pull out just a little bit more data from this time frame and see that price has pulled back about 50%, right? Rejecting roughly the 50% retracement as well as that break and retest zone, right? So a good amount of data just off of the monthly time frame. Bring it down to the weekly here, right? And we understand that this is that higher time frame structure point that price came back and retested, right? So this is that higher low point in the monthly. So it's naturally assumed that price would want to go ahead, right, and make its way back up to the all-time highs. Because if price is in an uptrend, right, and I'll go ahead and make a drawing here in just 1 second. Make sure everything's looking clean. Yep. Perfect. So if you look over here, and I'm just for my little drawing here, so we see that prices create a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. It is naturally assumed that price has to come back up and take out this previous higher high, because then from there we'll either get the reaction of price going bearish, or price will just continue what it did before and break above, come back down, find support, and continue going up. These are the only two possibilities that are going to happen once we reach that area, right? So looking at the weekly time frame, understanding that, right? So it's naturally presumed that price can come up to here. Looking at the weekly time frame, we see that price has been bearish, right? As we could also see, which was in the monthly time frame. But we can see here that there's a very clean weekly double bottom here, right off that key interest point on the monthly. So there's a weekly double bottom on that monthly retest. So that's extra confluence for price to want to continue going up. And you can see over here within this range created within the right leg, if we go ahead and pull from the high to the low here, and I only used a 50% retracement of the fibs. Fibs are completely objective. Everybody uses them completely differently. How I use them is I pull them from the high to the low of the range. I like to use the wicks, right? And I can see here that price has also pulled back 50% retracement after this beautiful double bottom here. So this is also giving me some more signs that buyers are still in control, right? So the key level that I'm looking at on the weekly time frame is this high here, because at this level here is price has the potential to set up one of my favorite patterns here. Actually, there's two of my favorite patterns here. It's extremely textbook. So we can see here that price has that downtrend. We have point A, B, C. Price breaks out the downtrend and retests C, right? This is point D. So if price can maintain point C, right, as resistance, price has a high probability in going down to the sells. Now that was 100% my bias until price cracked under this low. We had a nice liquidity grab of price peaking right back up, because as you can see here, price really only teased price breaking under. It didn't actually find any sort of resistance, right? This is what we call a liquidity grab, when price breaks under a level and peaks right back above. So with that being understood, going down to the daily time frame now, right, I can now see Zoe, shush, we're trying to educate the people here. So look, understanding that on the daily time frame now, I like to have my daily levels marked out. So just to mark out some key areas of interest here, right there is one. Here we have another here. And then I'll mark out one more for here. Whoops. All right, cool. So these are my key areas that I'm looking at US30 this coming week and probably the weeks prior until we reach this key level of 34295. But you can see here that on the daily, this is actually looking like a pretty clean inverted head and shoulders, right? And for newbies, you may not be able to see this right off the bat with the naked eye, but the behaviors I'm seeing is a left shoulder. We have the neckline here. Price comes down, creates a double bottom. Right, we break back above the middle, so this is also a trend switch because price was going bearish to breaking above the previous high, to now finding support on it. You can see price ended up giving us a nice double bottom at close. We had a beautiful bullish engulfing last week. So it's, for me right now, higher probabilities are for the buys at least up to 34295, because as again talking about in the weekly time frame, we're either going to go ahead and reject 32495 and it's a high probability we come back down to these lows, or we go ahead and we break above 34295 and we end up coming back up to the all-time highs, right? I'm not trying to say each one or the other. I'm saying these are the two situations that I'm going to react to, because something that helped me drastically in my Forex career is that you don't want to go ahead and come in with one bias as saying like the market has to do this one scenario, because when the market doesn't do that one scenario and you didn't react or properly prepare for the possible other situations that could happen, right? You're now frustrated because you had an expectation it has to do this, and when it didn't do that, your frustration created fear, greed of missing out, all these things that cause the trading sins that everyone, real traders know about. Over trading, over risking, just doing the most. All that negative self-talk, all that comes in. Now, going back to the daily real quick, we see that price is potentially in an inverted head and shoulders here, right? We know that price pulled back 50% on the weekly time frame. So there's a lot of confluence for price to possibly continue go bullish here, right? Despite all the negative talk in the market. Something that Andy Peters has said, and this may have been in a YouTube video, maybe it was a Zoom call that I was on with him, I don't exactly remember, but I remember him saying that if everyone's selling, I'm buying. If everyone's buying, I'm selling. Like, there's no way that everyone is correct. No one has 90% of people, if 90% of people were correct, then 90% of people would be making money in the market, but that's just not true. So I don't like to follow the stigmas I see on social media, other traders post, yada yada. I really stick to my fundamental knowledge of the technicals, and I really stick to that despite other outside noise, as you should. Now, I said the daily was in inverted head and shoulders. Now, interestingly enough, if we go ahead and we look at the 4 hour here, and we can see that on the daily and 4 hour, this is our really crucial level that we want to look at, because for us to even reach 34295, 33440 has to be maintained as support, right? And I'll go ahead and highlight that area here. Whoops. Let me go ahead and just change that color so we're all on the same page here. So this blue line is the key level that on the daily and 4 hour that I need to see being held as support in order to reach 34295. Now, with that being said, it's kind of clear on the 4 hour, but I'm going to give you guys a better visual on the 1 hour, is that we have another potential inverted head and shoulders pattern right here, right? And you can see the extra confluences that I like to use in the smaller time frame, 4 hour and under, because I like to use the 50 EMA just to help time with entries. Is that you can see that once we were trading under the 50 EMA, we were also making lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? And then we ended up breaking above the EMA, so a sign that buys could possibly come in. That's just added confluence. The main confluence is that price made a lower low, lower high, lower low, broke above the previous high here. So if we can see price come back down to 33,419 and maintain it as support, right? Also finding support on top of my 50 EMA, then I will gladly be looking for my buys up to 34295, and that would be a really clean move of about just under 900 pips. Now, most people would call this points. They'd be like, "Oh, this is 8,500 or 50 points." For me, I call this pips just to make that distinction, because I know a lot of people are probably going to come at my neck for that. I don't give a shit. So in the opposite scenario, as I just said, you want to prepare for each scenario. If price fails to hold 440 as support, then I'm simply going to be looking for a resistance back down to this level, and then potentially even further, right? Because if this range gets filled and the move still wants to continue, then we have to look at this overall range going back to the slightly higher time frame, right? We're going to look at the daily because it's going to be easier. But if we find resistance at 440, we could potentially fill this range on the daily time frame here back down to this low here, right around 31,600. So either going to find support on 33,440 to move back up to 34295, or we're going to move back down to roughly 31,600 area, back down to this level, right? And then again, same situation here. If we come back to this area, we'll either find support, come back up and fill this range, or we're going to go ahead and we're going to find resistance, and then we'll want to fill this range here that we have. Whoops, my mistake. This range here. So if we look here at the weekly, right, we have this low here. So if price wants to break under here, we have clean traffic here. If price wants to break above this high, we have clean traffic here. I hope you guys are getting the gist of how I operate through the market here, because I don't think it's complex. I teach this to people. That's not an advertisement to me, but I'm saying that this is extremely duplicatable, but it has to be something that you're willing to stay disciplined to. See, it doesn't matter the strategy you trade, because there's a lot of strategies that trade in the market as long as you've backtested them, made sure they're profitable. But it's about what works for your personality. See, some people, they're like, oh, I like your strategy, right? And like for me, it's intraday trading. Primarily I'm in the trade in the morning, and I'm usually out later in the day, rarely holding into the next day. Some people, they don't have that type of discipline, and they have to go ahead and only scalp. Some people, they don't like to be on the charts every single day. They're like, no, I want to be on it once a week. Sometimes they swing. So you have to make sure when you're trying to learn any sort of person specific strategy, make sure it aligns with your own morals, and you could stay disciplined to them. Because if you can't stay disciplined to the strategy, don't even try learning it. It's as simple as that. You're going to waste a lot of fucking time. I like to keep it simple. Price action. I only add the EMA and as extra confluence in the 4 hour and under. As you guys can see, if I go to the daily time frame here, I guess it's on for the daily time frame as well. But I ignore it on the daily time frame. Truthfully, I do. If we look at the weekly and above, though, you won't see it popped up just because it's not needed. I look at price action for what it is. And again, it's only for timing with my entries, because I'm really looking at structure overall. Price broke above this previous high. If we come back down, this is a very clean structure change, right? And this is the first higher high of a bullish move. So this is where I would want to get in. And then the secondary move, break, retest here, continue going up. Like, it's very, very simple. You just have to stay disciplined, stay patient. Now, when will I be looking for this move? Let me give that sauce. I'll be looking for it around 9:30, 9:45 to 10 o'clock. Those are really like my entry times that I like to get on the charts. Now, I'm on the charts at 9:20. I'm looking for a move at either 9:30, 9:45, or 10 o'clock. And then sometimes, if there's no move by then, because like 10:30 is the latest that I'll be probably sitting here, I'll wait. I'll check again at around 2 o'clock, because I noticed that indices, I don't want to say just US30, I've noticed this on indices, that they still, for some reason, a move happens. I can't fully explain that one yet. Hope you guys found value in this video. I really tried to not overdo it, keep it as value packed as possible. And hope to see you guys in the next one. Deuces.